So, all right. So this morning, my phone started ringing from black folks in black media saying they were denied credentials by CNN for tomorrow's presidential debate. And I was like, what the hell's that about? So I posted a tweet, tagged the head of corporate PR for CNN, saying, "Hey, I don't know how y'all just freezing out black-owned media." So I then, at 12:07 p.m., I then sent an email to the folks at CNN saying, "Hey, listen, black-owned media is important. Here's the whole deal. So y'all should, rectify this." And nothing happened. Well, what then happened is folks start turning up that heat. And so about 4 o'clock, you had the folks at the Atlanta Black Star. They dropped this story here with the headline, "Disrespectful, CNN excludes Black American media from 2024 president debate in Atlanta, but approved credentials for reporters from other countries." And so they say that, well, how are you going to have, reporters from all across the globe covering this debate, but you don't take care of folks who are right here in the United States. And actually CNN actually hit me back with a statement. I'm going to show you exactly what they said to me. And then also just give me a second. And then, so give me 1 second. Let me pull this email up to show you. And this is from Emily Coon. She is Kuhn. She is the head of corporate communications. So I sent the email to her as well as to the big boss at CNN, Mark Thompson. And so she goes, "Hi, Roland. Thank you for the note. We're welcoming more than 800 journalists from around the world to Atlanta this week to cover the CNN presidential debate. Information about how to apply for media credentials was made available to the public on May 15th in the announcement and confirmation of a debate. Unfortunately, due to size and security constraints, we were unable to accommodate additional credential requests following our June 7th application deadline, which was also communicated. There have been many requests for credentials since June 7th, and again, due to size and security constraints, we're simply unable to accommodate Emily." And so that's what she actually, sent to me there. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus Political Action Committee, well, they weighed in, and this is the statement that they dropped. This came from Congressman Gregory Meeks. It said, "Today, on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus, CBC PAC Chairman Representative Gregory Meeks released the following statement admonishing CNN for excluding black-owned media from covering the CNN presidential debate and calling on CNN to act immediately to credential a minimum of 10 black-owned media outlets. This afternoon, we learned that CNN has credentialed 800 members of the media for the first presidential debate of the election cycle. Not one represents a black-owned media outlet. CNN's exclusion of black-owned media represents an egregious oversight and is totally unacceptable. CNN must immediately credential black-owned media outlets ahead of tomorrow night's debate. Failure to do so is a choice, an offense to black Americans that cannot stand. We're calling on CNN to credential a minimum of 10 black-owned media outlets for tomorrow's debate. Black-owned media provides a critical, trusted source of information to our communities, and their role in our democracy must be respected and honored by CNN." So that was what the CBC PAC had posted a little about 30 or 40 minutes ago. Ebony Magazine. Give me 1 second. I got this text message because Ebony Magazine dropped a story of theirs. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Their headline, "CNN's exclusion of black media raises concerns over influence and voting suppression." And so this is their story, and they say CNN refused to secure credentials for any black media outlet ahead of the first 2024 presidential debate. And so they lay out in here what took place. I do know, and then it says here, at the Biden-Harris campaign, which has actively advocated for the inclusion and presence of local and national black outlets at Thursday's debate, they're going to be hosting an exclusive gaggle, a more informal press briefing that does not allow video of the actual debate. This move is seen by many as an attempt to address the concerns raised by black media as the Biden-Harris campaign seeks to optimize visibility for black and brown voters who play a pivotal role in the election season. Now, there are a lot of people who have hit me and they said, "Well, Roland, did they deny you?" No, we were not denied. We never applied. We had no plans on traveling to Atlanta to cover the debate because I'm not going to spend money just sitting in a big ass room when I can literally do it right here in my studio. And so tomorrow night, y'all can show the graphic. We're going to have our own coverage right here. We're going to have our panelists in studio. We're going to have pre-debate coverage. We're going to simulcast the debate. Then we're going to have post-debate coverage taking place as well. And so that's what we are doing. So we'll be having at least 4, potentially 5 hours of coverage of this first presidential debate taking place tomorrow, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. There will not be a show at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so this is one of the things that, and so here's what you have. You have CNN saying, hey, that was a deadline. But here's the thing that people like CNN don't get. And they need to understand this. And I deal with this all the time. I deal with this with campaigns. I deal with this people on Capitol Hill. So what happens is mainstream media people, they think they only talk to themselves. They go, oh, well, we're all sort of in this same thing, so therefore we know. What they don't understand is not everybody is in that world. Happens all the time. Things will happen on Capitol Hill, and they'll say, oh, we got pool coverage. It happened when Vice President Harris went, she had one of the trips, and same thing when they had the launch for Biden-Harris, Blacks for Biden-Harris in Philadelphia. It was like, we had pool coverage. And I had to explain to them, hey, everybody can't afford the pool. It actually cost significant amounts of money to be in the Washington, D.C. pool. Give you a perfect example. When CNN initially was talking about this debate, they were talking about, oh, sharing it with the pool in terms of how it goes out. But if you're not in it, it doesn't work. We are members of the Associated Press. We pay Associated Press about $170,000 a year. People don't understand is there are levels of the Associated Press. So there are a lot of things that we will see, it says U.S. out, meaning no U.S. outlet can stream that particular event. We deal with that all the time. And so I can understand a lot of the black-owned media outlets not even being aware of these procedures here because that's not what you do every single day. There are media outlets in this country. Y'all, I was at CNN for 6 years, okay? A lot of these outlets, they have staff whose sole job is to do those things, to literally handle credentialing. You don't even have to sit here. It's like the bosses decide, oh, we're going to bring 75, 100 people. They go, here's the list, boom, boom. You don't even do anything. Next thing you know, got your credential, whatever the heck. No. And so these things happen. We've had to deal with this when you cover the political conventions. See? So you would think, all of y'all at home, y'all would think, oh, Democrat political convention, national convention, Republican national convention, which means that if you're going to get a credential as a media to cover it, that means you're going to go through the DNC, go through the RNC. Nope. Guess who controls the credentialing? The radio and television gallery on Capitol Hill. They control that process. Well, because here's the deal. They go, well, everybody covers Capitol Hill. No, we don't. So every 4 years, we typically have problems dealing with the people in the radio TV gallery. And then what we have to then do is go to the DNC and the RNC and say, hey, yo, they tripping. That happened in 2016. I had to deal with Sean Spicer to make sure we had credentials to cover the Republican National Convention in Cleveland. We ain't going this year, waste of money. And so we had to deal with him on that. And so we've had to do the workaround to deal with that. And so that's what the CNNs of the world have to understand. Here's what I think makes sense right here. Listen, it's 800 people. You have security restraints. You have time constraints. Robert, here's to me what makes sense. You've had the Atlanta Black Star, Atlanta Voice saying, hey, wait, what the hell's going on? First of all, you can't be in the Black Mecca and you're going to leave out 2 Black Atlanta newspapers. Now, to me, what makes sense is the CBC, totally understand it. Hey, 10 credentials, not sure how many you can get. But first thing, CNN, credential the Atlanta people. Okay, that's first. And the other deal is this here. NNPA, which represents all the black newspapers, they apply for a credential. And I saw Stacey Brown's tweet where they applied, they were told, sorry, too late. Now, the Atlanta Voice is a member of NNPA, so they can provide their coverage to NNPA for all of their newspapers, okay? They can actually get that. To me, that's actually what you do. And I know that Black Enterprise, Ebony applied, the Shade Room, and so the thing here is, if what CNN should have done, again, when I sent them the email at 12:07 and realized that, hey, this might blow up, quietly go, okay, we'll credential these 5 people, boom, there you go, no story. Then you don't get the Atlanta Black Star story, you don't get the Ebony story, you don't get the CBC PAC story, you don't get a potential statement from the National Association of Black Journalists, and it doesn't become a thing. This is called bad PR. And you gotta know how to avert a crisis with the PR folk. You don't actually make it work. So I wonder on CNN's PR staff, y'all got any black people who are in the room? Something tells me that staff don't have any black people. That might be y'all bigger problem.
Well, Roland, I also love that they gave you the standard pat you on the head reaction. Oh, I'm sorry, little black person, you missed the deadline. If you had only read better, then you wouldn't have done so. And they completely missed the context of it because, as you said, they didn't have anybody in the room who could understand that you could not be in Atlanta and not have black journalists from Atlanta in that room. I applied for a credential and got denied because I'm on radio here in Atlanta, and I was going to cover the debate instead of going to go to some of the after events. Or I might fly up to DC and hang out with you, Roland. But it's one of those issues where the same progressive media that loves to call Trump racist and love to talk about what Republicans are doing often do the exact same thing. They just do it from a different perspective. They think that their white liberalness covers them from also doing things that are by their very nature racist. They have to understand that if you want to truly speak to the needs of black communities, you have to have black people in the room to tell you what those needs are. And through their own haughtiness, through their own condescending nature, this is why we see the ratings what they are for many of these major news networks, particularly CNN, because they do not know how to talk to the very groups that they want to support them.
This is the thing and this was something that, and I told the Biden-Harris people this, when they made the decision not to participate in the presidential commission debates. I said, you can't leave everything up to these individual networks. That should not happen. And Rebecca, that's what you're dealing with here. So you have a network that's deciding who gets to come and who doesn't get to come. And to me, again, if you are, the reason the presidential commission was set up, so you have sort of this other entity that's doing that, and you have this process. That's the thing right there. And I said to them, I literally sent text message, email saying, yo, don't let them screw us over the feed. I said, the feed to this debate, we shouldn't have to pay for it. It should be open to everybody. And then I saw this story where CNN said something like, well, you know, this debate is costing us. You asked for it. And let's be real clear. The debate is happening in your studios. You're not having to go out and rent a facility to actually host this debate. I mean, come on. Now the media overflow, however that works, whatever. But it's like, y'all, come on. Can we get real here in terms of really what's going on here? And so that to me is what the campaigns have to understand is if you start putting these things in the hands of the outlets and they get to control the flow, it's going to be a problem. And look, the conservative outlets that are complaining that they didn't get credentialed.
Yeah, CNN is really showing some incompetence with their coverage and what they're going to do with the presidential debate tomorrow. But here's the other thing. CNN is headquartered in Atlanta. How do they not have existing relationships with black media in Atlanta? That's why I'm asking myself.
Well, no. First of all, I'll tell you why, because let's be real. First of all, let me be real clear. When Jeff Zucker was controlling CNN, he gutted CNN in Atlanta. And CNN in Atlanta, they moved all the shows to New York. They completely gutted. They had minimal folks there. They're no longer in the CNN center connected to the Omni Hotel. They're now in Techwood. So the footprint of CNN has dramatically decreased. So the relationship that CNN used to have with Atlanta, that is not the relationship that they have today. You're not talking, CNN used to be headquartered in Atlanta. Jim Walton was the president of, he was the worldwide CEO of CNN. His office was in Atlanta. The leader of CNN is in Hudson Yards in New York. And that's part of the problem.
Right. If that's the case, then why didn't they just do this in New York? You know, I'm assuming that the people they have in the New York office will be a lot more competent in the intentional outreach that they should be doing ahead of this presidential debate tomorrow night. But this is also going back to the reason why we need to have the structured debate where everyone knows what the process is, how to get involved to cover the debate, who gets to be in attendance for the debate. That was the whole point of the Presidential Debate Commission. So it sounds like we really should be going back to that system instead of allowing third party groups who have different points of view or even have a different set of interests other than just providing the debate to the American people. This simply doesn't make sense, and there has to be a better way, and we've seen a better way in previous presidential cycles.
Jolanda?
So some things come to my mind. One, they don't really care about us is the first thing that comes to my mind. Second thing that comes to my mind, Roland, is CNN's cultural incompetency is shown in what they did. I'm not convinced that they really do want progressive ideas, because just like the Democratic Party, they need black people but have no clue about how to get us. But it also tells me that CNN doesn't care about black people hearing about the presidential debates, because I'm not convinced they want us to turn out to vote. And I think that they absolutely appreciate how important black media is to black people and black voter turnout. So I think that they're very polite. Basically, the black people don't know how to get a credential, and that's why they ain't here. Is the tropism that white folks always do to us. And at least with Republicans, I know they're coming for me. The problem with Democrats and progressives is they appear to be our friends, and they think they're our friends, but they treat us just as bad and sometimes worse than the Republicans, because as you hugging me, telling me you support me, you stabbing me in the back.
This is not a hard fix, y'all. It's really not a hard fix. It's not. Again, this is what, if you're the PR folks, you don't want to have a PR problem. You shouldn't have allowed this story to get to the point where it is right now. And I'll say this here, if they don't come up with a fix tonight, guess what? It's going to escalate tomorrow.
We need to boycott. Black folks need to boycott CNN. I don't know if they want black people to watch it.
Well, actually, if you look at their ratings, I think that's already happened. You've seen, I mean, look, they don't have one show that gets 1 million viewers. They lag far behind Fox and MSNBC. But again, this is not hard. And this is what I will say to CNN. This is real simple. Who do y'all have in the room? I'm telling y'all right now. I was at CNN for 6 years. If this had happened when I was at CNN, let me tell you exactly how this would have went. The moment I heard this here, I would immediately email Jim Walton. I would have immediately emailed John Klein, who's president of CNN US. I would have immediately interviewed Barbara Levine, who was in PR. I would have immediately emailed the other PR people. And I would have said, hey, y'all, this thing is going to intensify. You might want to fix this. I'm just saying, okay? And you would have, and so you would have, because again, when you have cultural competency, you can see the thing unfolding before it unfolds, and so therefore you avert the problem. In fact, I did that all the time. There were a lot of times when certain stories would happen, I would see it. I'm like, yeah, we need to be doing this right here before this thing goes here, and so that needs to happen as well. So I would also hope the black folks who are at CNN, the people who are on air, and the commentators, and the host, and the anchors, and the correspondents, I would hope they're weighing in as well, because otherwise, why are you there? Stand up for black-owned media, not just for mainstream folks as well. So So we'll see.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Bishop William J. Barber II, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival, and president of Repairs of the Breach. And I'm calling on you to get everybody you know to join us on Saturday, June 29th at 10 o'clock a.m. in Washington, D.C., on Pennsylvania and 3rd for the mass Poor People's Low-Wage Workers Assembly and Moral March on Washington and to the polls, and the post effort to reach 15 million poor and low-wage infrequent voters who, if they vote, can change the outcome of our politics in this country.
Our goal is to center the desires and the political policy agenda of poor and low-wage persons, along with moral religious leaders and advocates. Too often, poor and low-wage people are not talked about, even though in this country today there are 135 million poor and low-wage persons. There's not a state in this country now where poor and low-wage persons do not make up at least 30% of the electorate.
It is time that the issues of poor and low-wage people be at the center of our politics. Living wages, health care, things that matter in the everyday lives. We will no longer allow poverty to be the fourth leading cause of death in this country. We must let our voices be heard. Join us. Go to our website, www.poorpeoplescampaign.org. RSVP. Get others to come. Get a bus. Get a van. Get on the train. Come and let our voices be heard and our votes be felt. Lift from the bottom so that everybody rises.